before I do that, I just want to say that we are talking about access. We are talking about insulin today, and when we're talking about anything in the diabetes world here at dedoc, access is always front and center. We never ever take for granted or believe that everybody has easy access to anything. We very much know that that's not the case. And so today, while we're talking about insulin and all diabetes care, we really feel that we need to address that even though we have been celebrating a centenary of insulin, we've been doing that now for 12 months. This week was Leonard Thompson Day. While we are recognising and celebrating that we have had insulin, it's been available for 100 years. And you know what? We should be celebrating this. This is a medical research triumph that we absolutely should be celebrating and should continue to do. But we do need to recognise that for people around the globe, that certainly isn't something that can be taken for granted. I'd like to welcome Sana Ajmal from Pakistan. She is from the incredible organisation Meethi Zindigi. Now, when I talk about remarkable diabetes advocates, in my mind, one of the people who is always there is Sana. I'm lucky enough to call her a friend. I look up to her because she's truly, truly remarkable, but she's now going to speak about what access means to her and what Meethi Zindigi is doing about it as well. Sana, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a difficult time of day, so thank you for being here. I'm going to jump off now. And
thank you so much, Renza. And yeah, I feel the same way about you, and I don't want to get started on that. We're going to take an hour. But thank you so much for bringing me here, and you can start. Okay, I'm really, really glad that dedoc brought this topic up. So let me start with this, that I am simply in love with dedoc, and I'm so glad that the team brought this topic up, because while we're showcasing today, and we'll realize once we go through the presentations even in more depth, that how different can diabetes be for different people, many a times, so many of us around the world, and I would say that this is not a small number, it's millions of people around the world who do not have options. So something, and this is such a fun session, but I'm going to start with this, that while we celebrate the detail with which medical science and research is going deeper and deeper into personalization of treatments, something which is very upsetting for me is the pace with which the low resource settings are responding to it. It's extremely slow. And one reason, in my opinion, for this is the narrative. What I keep hearing in my last 10 years of advocacy, something that I've kept hearing like a buzz, is that despite the fact that research has gone so far ahead and people around the world are working on micromanagement of their insulin dosing, the devices, the data and everything, some of the research and the low resource guidelines still say that it's okay to use twice daily regimens. It's okay to use premixed insulin. And with all due respect to the challenges related to economic situations faced by various governments, the supply chain issues, et cetera, at least we should be stating unequivocally, for me, what I feel is that we should at least be stating that very clearly, that the bar needs to be set higher and that we need to do better for the diabetes community. And that while we can't provide better care right now, we need to find ways to be able to provide it in future. My whole issue is that I feel that the narrative keeps the bar low. And I'm so glad that dedoc has brought this topic up, because that's what will help build the narrative within the diabetes community, within the health professionals, within the researchers. I've gone to policymakers and heard, oh, but the guideline says it's okay to use twice daily regimens. And one part of the guideline says we can use data for this, we can do this, we can do that, we should do all the sensors, we should be using these kinds of insulins, this is what can be done. And then there's another part of the guideline that says it's okay to use twice daily regimens. It's okay to use premixed insulin, for example, even in children. The families, the guidelines say, and this is what the narrative has built up within the health professionals community, is that the families need to discipline the child's eating habits. Now, how do you convince a policymaker when that's what the guidelines says? How easy it is, and I'm going to ask you all, how easy is it for us or anyone to tailor the eating habits specifically at a very young age? It would have been easier for me to hear and digest the truth, which said, Osana, you're right, we can't provide that right now, but we'll work on it and see what can be done. what we ignore is how terrible can a treatment regimen that may not suit a person be for his or her quality of life, even if the HbA1c is perfect. The amount of time we need to just think about and manage life with a regimen that doesn't suit our lifestyle equates to full-time work. This narrative only widens the gap between those who have and those who do not have. If someone asks me, I would rather prefer not living at all like this. So I recently worked with an amazing group of professionals on ISPAD, low resource setting guidelines in 2022, and we could address some of this narrative to some extent, but I think a lot of work still needs to be done. What I'm glad about is that with this, when we co-created Meethi Zindigi with the diabetes community, we ensured that the children and young people who cannot afford, they get the kind of insulin that they need free of cost, delivered to their homes so that they can focus on their life and health instead of trying to survive the hum of everyday life, the unacceptable travel times, the cost of access to care, and the never-ending waiting lines. And they do not have to put up with any insulin that they are offered, but the doctors can actually work on personalizing treatment for them. And the most beautiful part of the service is that we have successfully subtracted the geography out of the equation. We cover the whole of Pakistan. And this certainly wasn't possible without our friends and donors, out of whom I would really like to mention Life for a Child for helping us carry out this much needed work. So this would be all from me. I would really urge you all to look into what Life for a Child is doing to help people around the world with access to insulin and help them as much as possible so they can continue helping organizations like us in low resource countries so that we can continue providing the care to people in our settings. Thank you so much.
Oh, Sana, honestly, I think that you've brought a cheer squad with you. There are so many people. We have one of the comments up there. You've taken a great initiative, Sana. We're really proud of you. Everybody is proud of you, Sana. There are so many really great comments. Thank you so much. There was a comment that somebody made, and this this one here that I wanted to mention. Thank you for addressing quality of life in the realm of access. You know, we talk about access and the frustrations of not being able to get our hands on what we need, what we want, what we need, but it's more than just the physical being able to get things and use things. It's the quality of life aspect of what is required when it isn't a simple process for us to simply go and get what it is that we need. So thank you. Thank you so much for making sure that that has been addressed. Sana, as ever, it's always so wonderful to hear from you and to hear your perspective. I would really encourage everybody to make sure that you are following Sana across all of her social channels, including the Meethi Zindigi website and socials as well, and keep up with what they're doing. And also, of course, Life for a Child too. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Renza, for having me.